Hi everyone, this is Sandy from Scissors in the City. We're going to make a 2-page layout. Here's your first page, and there's your second page. To make these layouts, we're going to use Prima's Golden Desert papers, ephemera, metal embellishments, and the Tim Holtz Thinlits from Sizzix. The tools you need are wet and dry adhesive, score tape, foam tape and squares, scotch tape, glue dots, a scissors, paper trimmer, and brown ink. I use the Distress Ink Vintage Photo. To begin, in your page kit, you will find a small baggie with cactus parts and a metal cactus. So go ahead and lay out your cactus pieces like this so that you kind of know where they're going to be going. Then I used wet adhesive for this. This particular piece you may have to poke out the circles. I see here there's one that I didn't get. So poke out those circles and then adhere it to the bigger cactus. And then some of these pieces you'll be able to see lines on them, and that's where these other pieces fit. So go ahead and build your cactus. And just arrange it however you want. Okay, so our cactuses are done, and while they're drying, we're going to set them aside. Then in your kit, you're going to have memories and a brown shadow. So go and adhere the memories to the shadow piece and set that aside. Now we're going to go ahead and cut our papers. You'll need all your papers and of course a trimmer. First we're going to cut this extra piece here off. So we do that to all 4 pieces of paper. We'll make our photo mats, and on the white piece we need to cut it 4.5 by 6.5. only need this piece. So set that aside. Then for the brown paper, I'll move this in a little bit so you can see that. First, we're going to cut a 4-inch piece. Now there is a little trim strip on some of the brown paper. You may or may not have a piece that has the trim strip. If it's there, you can either cut it off or just avoid it. But we'll cut a 4-inch piece, which is that cut. Then we need a 6. And 2 3s. Then we need a 6 1/4 piece. And return it. We need 4 1/4. 4 1/4. And this piece should be 3 1/2. And we need a 4. So those are all your photo mats. I'll show you again. We have our 6x4. And then we have our 2 3x3 or 3x4s. And we have our 6 1/4, 6 1/4. I'll move this up a little bit so you can see the bottom. This is 3 1/2 by 4. Then there's a strip on the bottom and this one. These two are extra, so we don't need them, so those can be set aside. Now we'll do our other cuts. This piece does not need any cutting. This one, we need 2 pieces out of this. What we're trying to get is 2 strips of our orange. But I didn't want all that white on there, so I trimmed off some of the white. And we need this piece to be just over 1/2 inch. So just barely over 1/2 inch. We're going to need that one. And then we need a piece that's 2 3/4. But what I want is I want orange on both edges. So I'm going to cut this white section off. And how I picked my pieces was I just tried to find ones that were as straight as possible. So I do that. And then 2 3/4. Well, like that. So I have those 2 pieces. And then this big piece is extra. We won't be using it. Then we have this piece of paper. We need this center strip here. I'm going to cut just off that orange. I don't want that orange on there. That was my personal preference. If you want it, leave it on. try and get it as even as possible. I'm going to cut it just inside of this dot. So I cut off that dot. Okay. And we'll set that aside. Now this one, we actually need one of these pieces. So I'm going to just trim that out so I can move these other papers out of my way. So I'll set that up for later. Then I need a 2-inch piece out of this. So it's the same paper. And I liked to see the brown edge. So I'm going to trim a little bit off of there so I see more brown. And then it's a 2-inch. I'll set that aside. These two are extra, so they can be out of there. Then here's our paper with the cactus. We need to trim 2 1/4 inch from the right side. The reason I did that is I want these to show more in the center of my strip. It'll all make sense in a minute. So 2 1/4. The only reason I'm turning this upside down is because my trimmer does not have 2 1/4 all the way out here. So I'm going to cut 2 1/4. And your trimming's done. You can set your cutter aside. So you need some Scotch tape, washi tape. Excuse me. What we want to do is build our page like this. So to make sure we get it on the left side, we're going to lay it this way. And then I'm just going to turn it over. Butt those two edges up together. And put some tape on there. And this is just to hold your paper. Okay. And we'll go ahead and, now if you're an inker, you can be inking all these pieces. Take your orange stripe, and this is where I used my score tape, and just lay it on that all the way down. This is going to help hold these two pieces together. And then what we're going to do is lay that over the top of that and adhere it down. So just because it's easier for me to see, I'm turning it sideways. Because you have a grid on your paper, you can line it up quite easily and lay it down and press it down. Then find this piece, and we're going to fussy cut this triangle out of here. So I just went like that. show you what we're doing here. So then we're going to cut off up here. So it's cutting one full one off and a half of the next one. And again, it's such a grid type pattern, you can easily cut that. If you're an inker, I would ink all your pieces. And we're going to need some foam. Again, I'm turning this sideways just because it's easier for me to line it up. And I'm going to go about halfway across this one. And lay it down. Then we need our memories piece. I'm going to put some foam on the back of that. And I'm just going to position this. Right now I'm not mounting it, I'm just looking. I'm going to need my white photo map and my two 3x4s, and they're going to be placed about like so. And so I want to lay this down so I kind of get the idea of where I'm going to position these. That's up too high, that needs to come down more. About like so. And need some foam tape on just the one edge of this. And adhesive on the other edge. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't have my photos and these go underneath, I'm not going to pull off that adhesive or that paper strip, backing strip there. Because that way I'll be able to get my photo underneath. And it needs to go up like that. Okay, and then because it's loose, it'll slide under. This one I can go ahead and adhere down. So that's the bottom picture. This adhesive is not like this cardstock. It's going to go up like so. And this one overlaps also, so I don't want to do one corner. Leave that way. And we'll go about like so. And you have your 4x6. Now these are so close in size. Make sure you grab the right one, which I did not. And that's going to go here. But I did pop this one up. Then we'll go ahead and adhere our memories. Go about like that. Now in your ephemera pack, you will find a couple of tags and some words. Choose whichever ones you want. For this tag, I use this cactus, and again, I popped it up. So the bottom of this goes with the bottom of the tag, and it hangs over on this edge just ever so slightly. I'll move this one out of the way. That's for our next page. Then you have in your page packet, you have some twine. Cut your twine into 2 6-inch pieces. And then tie a bow. And then with a glue dot, I adhered it to the tag. Now obviously you can't put the glue dot in the hole because it's not going to stick, so just move it just slightly to the left or right. And with dimensionals again, I popped it up. And then this I tucked under just a little bit there. Just under this brown a little bit. I adhered it down. And remember this little piece that we cut out? We need to fussy cut it. I left just a slight little white edge around it. You have several of them, so if you mess up, you can cut another one. Or if you decide you like it with the white edge but cut it without it one, then you can go back and do another. And then this one's popped up. And it's going to go right over the bottom of my S. Then if you take the good times I had, in this one I did not use any pop-ups. And I kind of scooted it underneath there. I placed it just so you see a little of the white E and a little of the white over there. Then in your kit, or in that little baggie, along with those cactus pieces, you'll find a metal cactus. Go ahead and tie that leftover piece of twine on it. And then using a pop dot, it goes in the middle of this little tag we made. And that page is done. So now take your piece of paper that we did not cut, and then you should have 2 strips left. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of this one. This is my orange stripes. I think they're supposed to be saguaro spines, but don't know for sure. And then using this grid, you can match up where you want it. And press it down. And here the next piece. And center that on the orange piece of paper. And that doesn't look very straight. Then we're going to have 2 of the 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 papers, and also that I kind of wanted them a little skewed so that they're not all even, kind of like so. So this piece is the bottom one. Again, I guess if I go very slowly, or you could use score tape. And this one's going to go to about the center of the brown and adhere that down. This one is not overlapping or anything. I just use my score tape. So you can go ahead and just adhere that. Okay, then again, this is going to be an overlapping one, so I don't want one corner to have any adhesive on it. And like that, not quite straight. Then we'll need our other tag. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of him. And we're going to go about like so, and about over to this line. And then take your other piece of twine and tie a bow. And get that very even, so I'm going to trim off that. I don't like that big piece hanging. Glue dot again. And stick it on there. Then we have our two cactuses. This one's going to go about like that. And then this one, where do I want it? That's not too high. So I guess I need this S into that little crook there. So I need to trim the bottom slightly. About like that. Can you see that, how much I'm cutting off? Let's see how much that is. About a ½ an inch off the bottom. See that? A little more. So basically at this one spot that hangs out, cut that off. And I didn't cut it very straight. There we go. So we want dimensionals on the back of that, on the back of both cactuses. And then work with your placement. Again, I wanted this little half circle there to be around the S in times. And I wanted to see that. So I like that. So we'll go ahead and take off the backings here. Let's see if I can get it placed out how it was. That's good. I'm happy with that. And then again, lining up the bottom. Curve of the S, overlapping. Then we have the best view. This one I did pop up. And then view is going to go over there. We want to see a little bit on the bottom, just like so. And there you have it. A 2-page spread done. Move this over a little more in the center. That's page 2 and page 1. Hope you enjoyed this make and take. Thank you for watching.